All right, we're going to do a little bit of a review and an install on this basin faucet we bought here for the bathroom. It's BWE, made by a company, BWE. It's sold at Home Depot, and we just wanted to go over a few things. So first of all, the faucet itself, very nice, solid metal, a little bit of a screen restrictor for water flow underneath. You have your single lever up, down. On your hot code, you'd go right or left on it. The install is pretty straightforward. Now, one of the things I had to do already was, because I'm replacing a 3-hole faucet with this single hole, and it comes with a plate. You see the plate there, covers the other 2 holes up nicely, just like that, and turns it into a single hole. But you got to measure that hole. If you're replacing an existing faucet, basin faucet, you have to measure that hole and make sure that it is big enough for this. If not, you're going to have to cut that hole. I had to cut it, and so we've got here 1 inch and 1/4 is how big this. So you need to go like probably 1 inch and 3/8 at least to be able to slip through. And so this faucet base is going to sit right on top of this plate. There's no washer or anything like that. Just sits right on top of it. And then underneath, when you put the shaft through, you'll see a big black washer, a rubber washer, and then a metal one, silver, and then the tool that's going to clamp down. So up underneath, this will screw on and it'll pull this faucet tight up against that plate. Then you use these little screws right here, there's 2 of them, and you screw that in up against this washer, and that's what locks this in from turning, stops it from turning, and it locks this faucet in place. Now, another thing is it comes with both hoses disconnected. And I don't know if I'll be able to get you to see this, but up inside of there, you can see those, the 2 hose that are up in there. I've got one connected already. And it's marked, of course, blue for cold, red for hot. Then all you have to do is look up on the top and see blue and hot, and match up underneath here. And then you're going to screw this thing up in there with your cold and your hot. Now, to make it a little easier, you can actually remove this from the bottom of the faucet. It just screws right out. And that gives you, you don't have to go as far up in there, see where you need to put this. Now, when you look at this, this is the code. You can see these 2 rubber O-rings. So the water pressure flow is not being blocked by the threads of this, but instead these O-rings. And when you put this up in there, you'll feel it, it'll fit in there. And I just, what I did was just kind of hold it up like this, like so. And then you just start turning this guy. The threads will catch, you'll feel it catch. Oh well, caught on the other one really easy. There it goes. You'll feel it catch because you'll feel those O-rings trying to push up in there. And you just turn that thing until you can't turn it anymore, just like that. Tighten as much as you can. But remember, it's not the threads that's stopping the water, it's the two O-rings. And that's it. They're up in there. And of course, these ends are going to go on the spigots underneath the sink. So then you want to make sure that you slip this back in, and you'll have to push one of these through at a time. They won't both fit at the same time. But if you push one through, then the other, it'll work just fine. Make sure that your rubber washer and your metal washer are on this. And you just push that up in there. And you screw this guy. This has nothing to do with water. Water's not going to flow through this. You don't have to worry about that. And just hand tighten it, because once you put this on your sink and you pull this tight up against the plate, like so, going down, like so, you'll be able to tighten that in with these screws, and you don't have to worry about this coming loose because it'll be being pulled on, have some down pressure on it. This is the type of stopper that comes with it, and I really like these guys because this is the kind where you push down, stops the water flow, push, and the water drains. I like this type a lot better than the pulling on the little handle, in the back of the faucet. This here goes through the hole in your sink, right there in the in the basin. You can see it. I'll get it there for you. It goes right in here, and you're going to. There's two rubber seals here. This one stays up against the top. That's going to sit on top of your sink bowl, right? So this was the hole of your sink, goes on top just like that. These go on the bottom, and it's important that this rubber gasket goes with the bevel up, the bevel pointing up towards the bottom of your sink. Right, so that's going to go on like so. Then the big metal washer is going to go on next. And then the ring that's going to tighten all of that is going to go on. So once I push this through, I'm going to come up from underneath my sink. I'm going to put the rubber washer on with the bevel up, the metal washer on, and then I'm going to tighten it down with this this nut right here. All right, so you can see a little up underneath my sink. I know the lighting isn't the best in the world, but you can see the black pipe here. I just put that through. That's this guy right here. Remember the gasket, this upper gasket stays on, slips through, it just sits there. Then you're going to put this rubber gasket with the bevel up right on top of that, up under here. You just sort of push it up there. It's tight, but that's what you want. You want it to be tight. That thing up there. Now it's going to go all the way up to the bottom of that sink. That's going to stop water from coming. If water does slip through the top, this will stop it. And if your sink gets to the overflow, that's where it goes. And that's what stops that water from coming out. You're going to put this metal washer and the big nut. So the metal washer goes up against the flat part of that plastic washer. And then this guy goes up against that. And you just get her going there. And you spin her all the way up. tighten that down, hand tighten. And you can use a crescent wrench. I'm sorry, not a crescent wrench. Lord, the name of this tool went right out of my head. And just take this guy and just a couple of channel locks. I can't believe I couldn't remember that. Set of channel locks, and you have to adjust it so it sort of fits that nut. And you're not going to overdo this. You're just going to tighten that a little bit, enough so that it doesn't turn real easy, because that rubber gasket on top and bottom is going to seal that. And so it doesn't have to be, real tight. Now underneath you have your hot, and you have your cold, and they're going to go right up on your old spigots here. And you're going to put them on that, okay? And you can see where I had this bucket to catch water when I took my old basin out, my old one out. So this is the P-trap, and it's going to fit right back up on there. And you're going to have a gasket that's going to slip right up the shaft of your sink, the thing you put in there that stops it from catches the drainage. You're going to come right back up on here. Make sure your little gasket fits up in there. And you're going to retighten this guy just like this. Not difficult at all. You're going to put that P-trap right back on. You can use your channel locks to tighten that down a little. And then you're just going to tighten this guy down just like this. All the way. Just like that. There you go. And like I said, you can use your channel locks to give this thing a little bit of a snug. Not a lot. Just probably a half turn at the most. That's all you need. Of course, you can always check it. If it's leaking, you can always come back and, tighten a little bit more. That's about it. That's all being held in with gaskets. Now, remember this guy? So this is the guy that goes up underneath to hold your faucet in place up here. And so you're going to put your rubber gasket on first, your metal gasket, and then this guy right here. Now that's up underneath here. You got to take these two guys right here. Make sure you put this on before you put these guys on the little spigots, otherwise you'll have to take it all back off again. Rubber goes first, then metal. Just like that, right there. Okay. And then this little guy, they have an opening for it, so you can just slip it on. So it's all going to make its way up these little hoses. And it's going to make its way to this faucet up here. All right, so once you have that ring up in there and you snug it down, not real tight, just snug, then you have to come back up and adjust your faucet and make sure it's pointing out straight. Once you do that, then you tighten those two screws down, and that's what holds this faucet system in place. Brings it up against that plate, tightens it up underneath. And it will stop that faucet from being easily moved. Okay. Yeah, there we go. She's good and snug. All right, the last thing you're going to do is you're going to put your hot and cold on. Of course, your normal setup, your hot it's going to be on the left facing the spigots, and your code will be on the right. So you just raise these little guys up. Now, they did give you some tape for your threads, but the gasket in this fitting actually should do the job, no problem. Now, you'll need a crescent wrench, would be your best bet. Once you get it on, once you hand tighten it, and then you'll snug it with a cresser. In this case, I'm just going to use this small adjust here. Just giving it a good turn that on. You want to, of course, make sure there's, there's no leaks, obviously. And you put your coat on. So when you're done putting your little, tightening your hoses up to your little underseat spigots there, you want to make sure you check for leaks. Shouldn't be any. I've put water in my bowl. I'm checking for leaks up here. There are none. And so you want to run water as well to make sure you don't have any leaks on your drainage, under your P-trap. Dry it off if it got wet. And then let water run and just look for leaks on there. There shouldn't be any. Like I said, most of this stuff can actually be hand tightened and be okay. All right, so we don't have any leaks. We've got the sink running really nice. On hot. Cold. Code's a little weak for some reason, I'm not sure why. I'll have to check the spigot. And then off. And there you go. You turn it on, you want to put water in the bowl, you push that down. Put that up here, see if you can see that. And then you want to drain it. Just push it. She drains. That's how it works. In stops it, out drains it. So there is the BWE faucet install. It's actually very easy to do. I love it. It looks nice. We're going to buy another one for our other sink here in this bathroom. We hope this has helped you to install it and to see the quality, the beauty of this thing. It's really elegant, really nice. We like it a lot. Well worth the purchase, the getting of it. So, all right.